So we now have our content. Now we need to actually add the interactive component because right now it just automatically plays without any interaction. So we're not going to get heavy into it. I'm just going to make it so it works and give a real rough overview. So the first thing we need to do is go to your first frame. And then I'm just going to click and drag over the whole thing. Make sure you grab all of it, okay? Whatever you want to be the button. And then what you're going to do is we're going to go to Modify, Convert to Symbol, okay? It doesn't really matter actually which one you use, but let's just go ahead and make it a button because it should be a button. Actually, button's better because it will highlight. So, and we'll just call this, just call it button because we don't really care. Underscore BTN, and then hit OK. Yay. Now, you'll see the object type is button. The name is button. You can see it's an instance of button. And we just need to give it an instance name, and we'll just call it clickable button. Okay. Make sure there's no spaces in it. We'll cover more of that later on, but it should have no spaces in your word. I'm using what's called camel case. All right. So we'll just do that to enter to make sure that it's good. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to add a bit of code in order for it to, that when we click on it, that will happen. So what you want to do is we're going to go to Window. You can hit F9 if you want. F8 was to make, to convert it to a symbol. But again, if your thing's weird, just do it this way. You want to go to the actions. Okay. And make sure you have it selected, the actual button. And then what we're going to do is we're not going to write this by hand. We're going to use code snippets. So if you click on this little button here, it'll open up code snippets. And basically these are, give it a second. Okay. These are like pre-made little bits of code that you can put in there. Now, if you recall, we are not using ActionScript. We're using HTML5. So open that up. We're going to do timeline navigation. So open that one up. And then you're going to see that there's stop at this frame. And then there's click to go to frame and play. All right. So right now it automatically plays right from the get-go. So we want to just double click, make sure you're on frame 1. Okay. You can actually just go ahead and click on frame 1 here and double click on stop at this frame. All right. And what that's going to do is it's going to make it stop. So now you'll see if I go ahead and I hit Control Enter to test this, it will only show the first frame. Also, I want you to notice because we made it a button, when I hover over, see how it turns into a different icon? So it sees it as actually a physical button. Okay. It's not going to do anything, but it did stop it. This will only work when you actually run it. If I hit play down in the timeline here, it's not going to actually, it's just going to play like normal. It doesn't read ActionScript inside of the program itself. Okay, so that's good. So the next thing I want to do is again click on the actual character, the actual button, and this time I want you to do click to go to frame and play. Just double click on that, and then you'll see this little bit will come up here. Now, if we read this, I don't want to get into a bunch of the code. It says this, blah, 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 an event listener. But you'll see the function it's actually running is this to go to and play 5. Do you think that's what we want? It is not. So this is JavaScript. So the first frame is actually 0, and the second frame is 1. So we want to go to not frame 5. That means it's going to jump right to this frame. We want to go to frame 1. Okay? Now, go ahead and hit Control Enter or Command Enter if you're on a Mac. And now you'll see it'll look the same, but watch, when I go to click on it, it will play our animation, and then it'll go back to that. And click, plays the animation, and it goes back to that. Okay, so that's basically what we've done. We've made a clickable, easy little thing there. So first, this tells it that on the first frame to stop. And then this one says on the clickable button object that we made, remember we gave it the instance name clickable button, it adds this function, and it'll do go to frame 1 and play. And so, and then what'll happen is because it loops, when it gets to the end here, it'll start back on frame 1. And since frame 1 has stop attached to it, it will stop. And then you can click it and it'll play again. All right. And that's basically it. You can see the easiest part was probably the code, right? In the grand scheme of things. So we're going to try and use as much code snippets as possible with as little manual writing as possible. Because obviously this is a digital arts and media design course or visual communications, depending on what we're currently called. we're going to be more on the art side and less on the code side, but we do want to be able to interact with it and make the things that we want. Okay. So once that's complete, you're going to want to save this. So when you go to save it, I'd like you to save it. And this is how you should save basically all of your stuff as your last name. And then you could do underscore and then do like lab 01 because it's the first lab. Okay. You could do cone underscore um, clickable and okay, clickable animation underscore lab underscore there we go, like that. Whatever, but I would like to have your last name in it, and then lab 1 or clickable animation, whatever the name of the lab is. That's generally how they should be named. Save, and then I want you to submit this on Canvas underneath the. We're watching this tutorial, so you should see on the bottom of that there should be a spot to upload a file. So you're just going to give me that .fla file. Um, and that's it. So try to do something fun, creative, whatever you can think of doing, right? So it really can be anything. Just have something, a first frame that you're going to click on, and then afterwards it'll play this animation and go back to the first frame. All right. And if you want to experiment and play around with all the different graphic, like ways of making graphics and stuff, that is fine as well. And if you have any questions or anything, just reach out to me. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys make.